things out here. Morning, morning, morning. Out here. All right. Hope you're all doing well here. It is Friday. So Friday, stream day, fun day, Friday, whatever. We've started off Friday. Well, no, we were starting off November, I guess, on a little downturn of a note. Um, we saw a lot of news coming out the last few days, which is worth exploring and taking a nice breakdown throughout that, specifically around big tech earnings, right? Naturally, we had some news this morning. We had the non-farm payrolls, which huge surprise to the downside, 12,000 versus the 100,000 expected, 245 prior. So that's a lot in part due, right? I was talking to some traders in our community this morning, and someone mentioned, oh, it's probably due to the hurricanes, which makes a lot of sense. Realistically, I hadn't thought of that about that. So huge downside, or I guess like much lower than expected figure of that 12,000. So there's probably going to be some revisions that get set up in the coming months, where we'll probably next month realistically. Other than that, we had a lot of news outside of that sphere, and mainly in tech, right? Big tech surrounding earnings. So the earnings period in big tech, that's been running its course throughout this week, specifically the Mag 7, right? The Mag 7 stocks overall. You had the start of the week was, what was it? The start of the week was Google, right? Sorry. So Google comes out on Tuesday, nice little gap higher, and it's been selling off the last 2 days. And you come in with Meta and Microsoft, which that was Wednesday. So I was going to say yesterday, it was Wednesday. And both of these took a pretty decent sell to the downside overall. You had a pretty strong red day to the downside on just overall tech and equities, but specifically the Mag 7. Like Meta actually. Meta was down about 4%. Down here, you can see the comparison of like the weighted average in the Mag 7s and like pretty stern decline from yesterday. Nasdaq was down about 4% from the last few days, last 2 days here, last two, or I guess 4 sessions. You also had Microsoft, which gapped down viciously yesterday and continued that downside pressure. It's kind of gapping up right now, but you then had Apple earnings, which came out yesterday, right? So we had Apple earnings that came out yesterday. It was down a bit, right? It is down a bit right now. It's down about like $3 or something after the iPhone maker unveiled a quarter revenue outlook in the low to mid single digits, missing the top end of Wall Street's estimates, and a possible sign of caution ahead for the key holiday trading period, as well as, right, you have weaker sales in China, which is a huge market cap, right? You also have Amazon, which actually did pretty well on its earnings yesterday. It's gapping up a decent bit right now, trading nearly $200 a share, up about like 7% after the e-commerce giant reported third quarter earnings that surpassed analyst estimates, overshadowing lower than expected guidance for the upcoming quarter. You also have things like Intel. Intel rose pretty aggressively. Boeing was up as well after some of those earnings reports. But the main thing that I'm interested in is like big tech that surround the Mag 7s, specifically in semis. And you can see NVIDIA is down pretty aggressively over the last few sessions after hitting about like 145-ish. And I'm looking at this as like the main barometer for the strength in the overall market to see if we can actually turn this thing around or if there's more downside. Now, it's Friday. Fridays do have a sense of bullishness to end the week on a strong note. However, I'm very cautious about that, right? I do have some longs from the overnight session that are doing pretty solid, but overall, right, this is what I was saying. I'll explain those longs. This is what I posted last night right before the session close. If we start off with the S&P, realistically, we're in a downside structure, right? We're in some pretty heavy downside momentum that's shaping up here. So what we got going on with the S&P, if I can find my pen tool, that'd be fantastic. What we got going on with the S&P? I'm just trying to follow where these auctions are. So like if we have like an auction bottom over here around that like 58, like mid 30, low 30, let's just say like midpoint area, we can say like 58, like 35 or something. So if we have that auction low, and then yesterday we were about to close the ETH session below that, what's happening is we're accepting outside of the larger auction to the downside. We're moving towards the next auction over here that starts at like 5,805, which puts downside pressure on this market. There's bearishness. Realistically, you want to sell rallies from either that 35 or that 20 to stay on trend. Anything below this auction top, right, you're accepting to the downside, which puts bearish pressure, meaning sell rallies into this. Now, we come into the auction lows, right, around that like mid 30, which is the reasoning as to why I'm looking at this from the perspective of, okay, I can look for some longs, right, into the end of the session, into the overnight. It looks pretty realistic to target the top band of this balance from yesterday around that B shape, which happens to be around like 67, we can call it. So that's going to be the main starting point where the volume drops off for the sell side to actually try to take control and continue this kind of momentum without allowing for prices to come back into that auction top area. So we had huge selling coming in from the IB low yesterday, which was that 67, 68 area. We had huge selling from 84. So those are two areas on the S&P that I'll be probably looking for any kind of new aggressive selling to try to come through. So like, yeah, we're still in this auction from the acceptance from the upside into the downside, which puts bearish pressure on this. The balance drop off is around this area, 67, 69. So this is my first expected region to find any sell side pressure, or I'll be looking at the 84 on the SPOOs. Now, I'm still long a few, right? Not many. I've got two left on the SPOOs and then two left on the NASDAQ from those lows at that auction low, right? For me, it just makes sense. You're trading back down to that auction low. You can't close below it. You have like 3 periods of like pretty much equal lows into the end of the session on the market profile. Like you're getting the breakdown and the anticipation for a reversal based on that information, right? Whether it's going to be a mass reversal or not, that's a different question. But there was some kind of expectation to go into, excuse me, to go into towards that like what am I talking about? That like mid 50, mid 60 area. I got to change some of these. I don't know why they're like this, but what I'm going to do is actually going to delete this. Yeah, put that there. You have like an area that's like midpoint area into that like mid 50, but like I don't want to have too many regions, too many areas, and just trade like the massive balances. Nasdaq very similar, honestly. Nasdaq had two areas that I was looking at on the overnight session. The first one being that 020, 040 area, which is just like massive auction I guess like volume imbalance region over here. So like that's it. And then the bottom band of it kind of comes closer to that 040, 20 area. So same thought process, or we can go down into that extreme auction low towards that like 940, 960 area. Those are the two regions that I'm looking at this and thinking, okay, like realistically, one of these two areas is probably going to hold for some kind of like decent expansion, where I would target probably into that block of like 150, and then the top band of the low volume start, the unfinished auction start, which is 200. So if I am bearish, right, I'm looking for pops on Nasdaq to sell into, because you run into this like massive auction, which like expands like this. And realistically, like it's downside pressure. You have this unfinished auction, and they would want to hold. Yesterday, there was a lot of selling from 200. They would want to hold so they don't clean this auction up and tell us that there's like really strong selling that's coming into this market. So like 200 and like 250 on Nasdaq, those are the two areas that I'll be looking to see if any kind of sell pressure comes in. The reason why I'm not really planning for too much buying is like I'd really like like even pre-market right now, like there is sell pressure coming in from those like two areas right now on both of these assets. And I just want to see these guys that they can actually hold some kind of decent bidding throughout the session to be like, okay, this looks like a decent long. Let's just start swinging this thing to the long side. Right now, there's no real reason for it. I don't think that if we cut like I think if we come back into these lows from the overnight session, like you're going to get that just complete continuation to the downside. Those lows are just going to get disbanded. So best case scenario is that we make a move higher, right, and find selling at higher prices Obviously, if it's like a really strong bear, that's probably not going to happen. However, that's kind of where I'm leaning on. I'm trying to identify where those guys can come through at slightly higher prices. S&P's at a good area. Nasdaq, I think it could have done better at like 200 to try to sell off, but the weakness in tech, especially like Apple's not like super dead, right? Apple's not it's not down a lot, but it is a big factor in the overall market that we do have to consider, especially since it is a huge weighing. So it being down and big tech in general is not doing super sexy like with earnings over the last week, right? There haven't been like that many crazy forward guidance outlooks, like large expansions. You saw Google got killed on the following day. So it's a battle of big tech, right? Big tech is pretty much done with the earnings. You have Nvidia November 20th. Now all eyes are on election next week and the FOMC meeting, which is on Thursday next week. So a pretty jam-packed week next week as well. So once that blows over, right, downside or upside in tech, I think that's the point where big tech starts to get bid back up. I think we're entering into a period of fire sale for big tech towards the end of the year. So let me know if you have any questions. Good morning, everyone who's joining us on stream. As we get ready for this market open, morning. Let me just see our chat here. Morning, Ben, Iran, Mukhtar, Laurent, Scott. How you guys doing? Sorry, a bit earlier. Friday stream day, Friday buy day. We'll see how that transpires, but well, we'll see. I'm not like super keen on like the continued buy side. Like I think there can be a little like I don't think like see this is the thing. I don't think like there's like extreme like oh we're gonna drop like 10% from here. But I also think it might be a little too early to be like okay this is officially the bottom. We're going back into all-time highs. I think that you need to pass through a lot of this news, pricing in what happens with the election, pricing in what happens with the FOMC next week, pricing in these earnings for big tech. So the FOMC next week, I believe the odds are in favor for a rate cut of 25 bips. Ah, shit. What yeah, this is what I was looking for. What was I looking for? You don't even know. Neither do I. This is what I'm looking for. The shit. The FOMC. The meeting is November 7th. Uh Rare case on Thursday since election is what is election? Tuesday. 99% of a 25 bip cut. So they lowered the expectations for a second double cut there. Yeah, I tend to agree realistically. I think like if the SPOOs don't sell from this like 70 area, the higher probability is probably like see that like mid 80 or whatever. But I'm not super convinced that this downside is done. The offer on the Nasdaq's coming in a little more valiantly. Might even taken out on the rest of these. In 8 minutes till this thing opens. Warning everyone that's joining. This Nasdaq looks a lot weaker here. Start things off. Not a good sign if tech weakness is just like hammering in. Eating a sandwich here before the market opens. Bowl sandwich. Little pop earlier on and sells. Okay. Oh. Hmm. Alrighty. Sandwich has been consumed. I'm grabbing a bunch of Perriers and we're ready for the session. Morning, Mike. Downside pressure, specifically mainly on tech. I feel like that was redundant, but where Robert, Daniel, everyone. What's the volume here pre-market? Not great, I would assume. 250,000 contracts with some like kind of irrelevant news on NFP. If big tech continues to sell like super aggressively today, like it's gonna bring this shit a decent bit lower. I'm not bullish today, but I would have liked to see at least some kind of attempted rally here before shit hit the fan like this. I'm about to get taken out on this Nasdaq even before this market opens. For the rest of these, open in 15 seconds. I doubt I withstand that volatility. Put fatty on here. Ding, 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 ding. There's the market open. Shit, this thing's getting sold right away. Well, all right. Let's see. Yeah, first like few minutes here, see what's going on. I got one left now on this NAS, hanging on by like a thread from these longs from last night, but the pressure is on.
Morning, Vic. Morning, Trade Pros.
Running
What's
fit.
up? That's up. What are you leaning today, Vic? Bullish or bearish?
Bearish, but like I thought we'd see higher prices. Like we still can, obviously, but I'd probably look for some of that downside pressure. Like you have Nasdaq's pretty weak right now. Um, I thought we'd get a little higher, to be honest. I thought like Nasdaq maybe trades like 200 or something.
Mm.
250 is an area I'm looking at from yesterday's continuing to move lower. Um, the S&P like the 70 area, honestly, high 60s like that. It's a big block of the immediate first resistance. Like I was looking either we sell there or you sell a bit higher. I kind of want to see like 84, and then that becomes a question because like if you get up into those areas, like let's say like 200, 250 Nasdaq, like 84 S&P, I think that there's a good line of defense for the sell side from there. I just think that it also presents the opportunity to see, okay, are these guys actually going to make a new low from that area and start like hammering it aggressively, or there's going to be a transition point? So like if I like if okay, so if I was like a big seller, if I was like a huge market participant that was like I gotta sell a shitload here, I gotta reposition. I want to get out of this, right? I need to dump some of these longs, or I just need to get into like some shorts, hedging, whatever it is. I'd be happier with prices, or I should say, I would be happier with lower prices, right? So like I'd be happier trying to sell these 67, 68s on the spoos, like NASDAQ from like 130, 140, 150, which happened pre-market here. I wouldn't necessarily want to allow or want to see prices that extended as like the areas that we're looking for the sell side. So it's a double-edged sword. Obviously, like selling higher is better. It's more ideal for us, right? We want to be able to get like the highest price to sell into. But at some points, you got to think, okay, like if the selling comes in super aggressively at these like lower bands, might be time to get active. But for me personally, I'd rather see like at least like 200 on the Nasdaq, which pretty far away right now. Like S&P high 60s, right? There's a pretty good chance that these guys try to hold that sell from there. So let's wait. Let's see how these guys set up. The more information I get from the beginning of the session, the better. Nasdaq looks like butt. Hmm. Yesterday was indeed a scary Halloween. Marcus took a shit. Nice bid here on the spoos. Nas trying to catch a bid, kind of like one touch bounce from that like 0.50. Big buyer gets a little rejected here at this 70 on this spoo. Hmm. Man, show me a little higher. These guys are getting a little stuck on this spoo. Honestly, take another one off here on this spoo and just leave it down to the one. Crepe City pancaked. Believe it or not, um, The majority of my gains came from buying yesterday into stuck shorts and imbalances. Because I just wasn't on the short earlier on. I had some technical difficulties. By the time like everything was set to go, it made more sense for me to be a buyer or a patient seller from the IB low. I only had one trade off the IB low yesterday, but I think these guys are starting to get trapped, especially into these like high 60s here on the spoos. Like, I'd really hate to probably just gonna flatten this Nasdaq. Honestly, this thing's taking a shit. The Nasdaq didn't even want to trade into that like 150 even. Like with the spoos right now, I'm thinking about it, but me just reversing a position here after being long, I have to give it a little more time before I get super active. It's like six minutes in. I reverse this long and I start shorting, and then it goes up to 84, and then I look like the dumbass. But I'll give it some time. Pancake town. What do you think is better, pancakes or crepes? Topic of Friday. Pancakes or crepes? French pancakes. What is that? You added a third element here. Interesting. Like I heard something about how October 31st is the last day of the fiscal year for mutual funds, or the last day of redemptions for mutual funds, which could increase the repositioning and affect your volatility. Now I gotta look up what a French pancake is. Pancake. But don't call it a French pancake, it's a crepe. Threw me for a loop, a French pancake. Laurent is throwing up right now at the sound of. I agree. Pancakes too heavy on the stomach. Crepes, higher tier, in my opinion. I'm glad I didn't reverse the spoos, but there's like there people are getting quote unquote trapped because like buying's not what's it called? Buying's not like fully continuous and fluid, but like no one's really selling into these highs. It's just like the Nasdaq looks a bit shittier, honestly. Like I wouldn't opt in to start dumping shorts into the spoos right now. Um, but with Nas's weakness, let's see here. Still a bit of time for me before I get the information I want. It's not like stomach can't handle a pancake. It's just like it feels heavier. My stomach can handle anything. I feel like my stomach can handle anything unless until I go like to the States. Then I go to the States and everything's just like artificial and shit. And like the sizing's massive. Like walking around like half crapping myself. Quality of food. Even there's a difference from Canada to the States. And Canada's not great. So the States is ass. Yeah, that's right. Y'all heard me. Upside still opening up. I haven't seen like it's just been yapping. I haven't really been doing much, but like I haven't seen anything that makes sense here realistically. Like you're looking at this like grinding higher, right? Great, but like for me, where would I get long? Where would I get short? You're not at key areas. You're not at key auctions right now. Like the S&P's climbing, I would be more interested to see like how this like 84 area interacts with the SPOOs. Like Nasdaq, maybe I cut that Nasdaq off a little too early, but whatever. Nasdaq trying to catch a bid right now. SPOOs are on a pretty strong bid. I'm just for me, I have the area 200 on NAS that I'm interested in, like 84 on the SPOOs. If those don't trade, then it is life. Oh shit. Nasdaq, you have 150 as well. It's kind of an intermediate area that's been holding out. Let's see what 200 is. Do I own crypto? Yeah, like long term. I don't trade it. Good to diversify a little, at least. Ah, shit. Maybe I cut that Nas off a little too soon. Whatever. Sue me. But um, what what was I gonna do? Someone remind me. Oh, I'm looking at big tech. Microsoft trying to revive itself ever so slightly here. Nice bid so far. Amazon trying to hold out. Just an Apple. Apple in revival mode a little. The gap down pretty decent though. Nasdaq SPOO still holding bid. Nasdaq. Bought some calls yesterday for next week and a few weeks out. Let's see if it's a jinx or not. We're getting again a lot of buying that's happening into these highs that's like getting pulled off a little. Nothing to tell you that you've got like mass selling that's coming through, in my opinion. What time did I start the live? 9 a.m. Eastern, something like that. Someone's stuck on the longs at like 78 on the ES. Let's see. I think they could trade the 84 area. 80s, like low 80s, low to mid 80s. That's like the main target slash like area I'd want to see if they want to reverse things from. But on an intraday basis, I don't really think there's like been much. Has anyone taken a trade today? If you're not long, huh. I see that stupid buyer that looks a little trapped on the spoos at like 78 half, but or not seven, it can't be 78 half. They didn't trade there. I'm reading it wrong. 77 three quarter on CL. I'm like, what the hell? See, looking at Nas and Spoos. Nas, the seller tried to come in like 135 on Nas. He got a little trapped. Nas looks a lot weaker, man. I think I'm gonna take Nas on a little ride on the sell. Okay, I don't have any stops on this. 1 second. See if maybe I can fill like some at like 145 up to like 155, just like smaller size here. I might not get that fill. Hmm. I really want to fill lower though. Let's see. Fighting 140. Shit. S&P continuing to try and make a new high. Let's see. There's some strength in Spoos right now. Tech, it's an okay area from yesterday's IB low. So watching some of these low sellers look a little tired on the sell here. Like you're getting pretty big selling coming in from like 151s on Nas. It's not really doing anything. Huge imbalance now, 152s. This is your chance, seller. Try to add maybe a bit lower. We had to take like a big massive sell here, or these sellers are screwed.
Or a huge buy stop into like the 200s.
Yeah, and then we see what happens there. A lot of selling that's trying to hold this thing out, but like big emphasis on trying. S&P just seems like a little too strong here. They keep reloading this like 151, 152. I'm getting a little nervous if they just like sprint through it and above it. It's like constantly rebidding this. Try to move some of these more appropriately. My stops are like above the highs, but I think they're probably gonna get taken out. These like this buy side's pretty eager right now. It looked okay, but some pretty strong bidding that's happening here. And like people are getting a little stuck on their short. Like I'm out of that short. I'll try it there, but this thing's just on a freaking power trip right now, which is fine. I might have to abandon that short idea at this rate. Like, yeah, okay, we could potentially still see 200, but like everyone just keeps getting like stuck on the short side as like things are trying to rebid. I'm still see this is why I shouldn't have maybe cut that long on the Nasdaq. Still along these one of these spoos. We're coming into main target. Honestly, I'm just gonna go flat on this spoo. And like this Nasdaq now, like these guys are annoying because like the sell pressure that's coming in looks better, right? Like S&P, very strong bull side uh, press here. I'm flat all longs, like taking out a little short there on the Nas, but I think I'm gonna do it again here. It's a bit not at the best area, but like the imbalances that had accumulated better at like 170 than the area that I was looking at. Oh, let's see. Like if that's the rotation they start turning over right now, like S&P's kind of jammed to these highs, then that really sucks. I was off by a bit. I don't see the hell like 170-ish on Nas Reacts, but again, 200 probably the better area. Pretty strong bid that's holding out right now. There's a lot of these like sellers keep getting jammed as like prices try to pull lower. Kind of uneventful day. This Nasdaq is, I'm still watching it here. Still pressure by the buy side. I'm very tempted here. Big seller trying to come 170 on Nas. I'm gonna start trying to get into the Nas short again. Still doing like smaller size here. So it's like more of order flow. One of the main issues here with the short, I would say, is like the fact that a lot of these sellers that are like pretty big size kind of keep getting jammed at these higher prices, which doesn't put me on the best side of this thing. So, yeah,
Big
some
flash sell
pressure.
here needs to continue the press if you want to believe in the sell side. If you get here rebid like that, like I was gonna try it, but
Shit,
that
is there
rebid
news
is
that's coming
nasty.
out in like 30 seconds?
Oh yeah, fuck.
I don't know. Is there?
I don't know, it looks too volatile, so
It's getting a little jumpy here. Shit. Might be a bad look for me. Ah, shit. PMI, ISM, manufacturing. Oi, 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 oi. God. Again. Shit. Right before that news. God damn. I don't really think I should have been taken out on that. Took me out at like break even. What the hell just happened? Oh, it's some bullshit. Let's see if I can layer some in again. There's no way that could have taken me out. And then I'm looking at this P&L and it's like the same. What kind of stupid market is this? I'm trying to fill in this short again, but like I might not here. I don't really want to sell like 160. I sold it. Let's see if these guys can break this like 150, 155 area. A lot of games being played in this now this year. That stupid offer here. See a big seller like trying into these lows. Okay, 150. Nice, 149. There we go. Okay, take some of these 140s. See, maybe we can run a little more. Come on, you son of a bitch. I'm out most of this. Like 35-ish points here. Oh my god, what is this shit? Yeah, 3 left on this. Let's see, there's a lot of imbalance at this like 140 area. I'll try to fill one more. I didn't short the spoos. Let's see if this Nasdaq can topple under this like 130, 140. That second short, like I don't know how I got taken out on that. I got taken out like break even for some reason, which doesn't make any sense at all. Let's see if I can get into this 120 area. A decent selling trying to come through to these 130s right now. It's a big spot. These like 130s here, apparently. Some guys getting a little stuck down there. This is shaping up to be pretty bullish flow right now. It's a matter of can we break under this like 130 area on this NAS? S&P a little obsessed with this like 80. There's a lot of buying into that block. Bidding getting a little aggressive here on the nose. I don't think it's gonna break lower. I think these buyers are gonna just come and sweep these highs, and we're just gonna go on a bid right now. See if I can just cut one of these honestly, and then I'm down to just this one. I might just flatten it honestly at this point. But I think these guys are pretty bullish activity here. Pretty bullish dom. I tried it, but I think these sellers are kind of cooked. I think they're finished, right? A lot of like selling gets trapped in these 130s. Like you're bidding pretty aggressively. I don't think this sell is really on. 84 is now trading here on the spoos too. It's gonna take something pretty big to sell this thing lower. Like Nas probably has to reoffer under that 130 if anything. Otherwise, like I think that these guys they're accepting into these like auctions higher right now. Like this spoos is just going on like a pretty strong bid. Sellers keep getting jammed into higher prices. Big buying came in at 140. Seller got trapped at 135 on the Nas. Rebid going on here. Continued buying like huge orders now into 188. A lot of buying, a lot of big orders here. New high at least prints on this Nasdaq, which like honestly, yeah, we might be failing a little right now, but this buy side momentum that's just like holding this thing out. Probably better off looking for a little long. I'd still be watching like around 200. Like, I guess, what do we just trade to? 193, pretty close. But I'll watch around that 200. I think like the main selling point to like get active people on the sell side on NASDAQ is still like two, um, 250, 260 S&P. Like you bid above these like 80s. I think it's kind of over. Decent selling here, trying to come in NASDAQ. It's gonna be like difficult to get in at this point. I feel like Nasdaq. Honestly, I will watch into that like 130-ish area if we get into there. I feel like that could just be like a decent bid. S&P just kind of a lost cause. This thing just rallying. I don't want to be that guy that buys this like high area, but there's a lot of people jammed up on this nose right now. Ba-ba-do-do-do. I've seen no selling on the S&P today. 200 about the trade on that nose. I might just get long, like kind of aggressively into some of these like imbalances on shallow pullbacks on NAS. Like it's a pretty strong bid, very reminiscent of what we saw earlier in the week. Like don't be a baboon and keep trying to short this right now. Like 200 trades, like 200 trades, big buyer comes in there, Nasdaq. If they just go on a crazy bit above this 200, that was a massive area from yesterday. This sold super aggressively, like time and time out. So like this is it's a turning point, and all I'm seeing is just like attempted continued buying through that 200. Like, okay, it's pretty much broken at this point. Like on Nas, like this thing's a ripper, right? We tried the short, okay, it worked for a bit, but like realistically, what you're seeing right now is just like constant um buy side that's ripping through. So like the best way to play this is like wait for like if we pull back, wait for someone to get stuck on the short, and then just start jumping on against them. Call options doing pretty good though. It was so close to just pulling the trigger and buying like 180. Shite. Let me just, sorry, I'm just gonna take a look at some of these calls. Some for the eighth on spine cues, which a lot of shit before they expire. What the hell? This market, like people getting stuck, I guess, like 208 on that NAS shit. I don't want to be buying this like close into that like 250. There's a strong bid though. Da, da, da. Maybe I cut the yes a little too soon, but that is okay. A lot of imbalances accumulating here into these highs. Ryan says long 166 seemed to hold. Woke up was like, it's not going south. Dog peed on the patio. That was my sign. Yeah, like snapback 165 area. Like, yeah, a little aggressive, but thing's holding out strong. At this point, like, I feel like I missed my chance of around 180, 170 on that like aggressive bid on NASDAQ. Like, you're coming into like 250, 260 area, which is like, it's a pretty big area. It's a pretty big level. So I don't want to be like buying a few points into that. I think waiting for the expansion through that. Hmm. I shall buy this somewhere. It's not at like 240 or 230 right into that resistance. Just waiting here. doing, people? What are we doing? I see buyers only. S&P specifically. This thing's on a Goliath rip. This Nasdaq, I gotta be a little careful about it. Like best case scenarios, you just like rip bid through that like 250, 260 area, and then fine. Okay, we can continue longing. It's just like right now you're entering a pretty strong region. You got SPOOs that are at like their SPOOs are at a pretty strong region as well in terms of like resistance. It's just no one's really selling. Big factor that we can't overlook. Here's 250 continued on NAS. Let's see here. I think this might be my chance to see if I can fade this. This is one of those big areas, like you get the 250 rejection here, NASDAQ. They're accumulating like a shitload of buying here. I haven't seen like massive selling just yet. I'm thinking about it here. It was in the plan as like that's if there's gonna be a sell realistically, we could see some sell pressure that comes out of this area. See if I can sell into the 250 area. Yeah, I am going counter trend. Yes, yes. Higher risk. Not the sexiest trade one might think of. So, getting fills on these. Against the grain. And like this is the other thing. You got like a lot of support structure below. So it's obviously gonna make it harder for these guys to actually like go in and like break it aggressively to the downside. You know what I mean? Like you gotta be cautious when you're taking these kind of pings from the highs. Like now we got to break under like 235 if there's going to be any like pressure on this sell, which is like right here. And ask yourselves, why are you taking the trade, right? It's always going to be a big question. You can't really answer that for yourselves, and you shouldn't be doing anything. Mike. Go back to Emma saying. ES continues. It's just like turbo bid. There's some attempted selling on the SNAS. It seems a little jammed. A lot of buying trying to come into this 260 right now. They're serious about this buying right now. I'm out of this. Listen, I tried it. Why'd I try it? Because it was a big area, right? I have profit already on the day. I don't mind it. It's not the highest probability trade right now. Highest probability trade is realistically the continued longs, but like where are you gonna get those continued longs from? I don't know. Like now there's a lot of traders that are getting trapped on the short side, so like probably like 240. All these levels, if you're asking, are manually plotted based on auctions. S&P a little too strong here. When you get this like grind higher like this, like it is pretty difficult, I would say, to get on board. But as long as people get trapped on the short, like that's your in. I'm still like a little weary about this. Like I'm not gonna try to ping this level like a billion times at like 260, 250. I just if I'm gonna be more bullish, right, I'd like it to expand a decent bit higher. Otherwise, like there's gonna be better areas to buy from lower, in my opinion. And like if there's like a huge offering, like a big seller that comes in that's actually holding out the offer a bit better, right? That's when I'll probably try it. Like it was an okay offer from about 250, just they didn't really stick. Pretty similar to what's going on right now. I just continued heavy buying. I'm looking at this like, this might be it. This could be it.
Liking the shorts. I'll take a jab 56 to 60 on Nasdaq.
It's just like I gotta be careful because like the second this guy gets stuck on the short, they're just gonna hold the freaking bid. A lot of people is super stuck into that low. Or not even a low, like I don't even know what that area is. 245, 250. I like the idea is just like you got a lot of work to do to break through all that selling that's jammed lower. Bum, bum, bum. Sellers are getting disrespected. What? So, a little more respect for the sellers. Is this it?
Out 2 out of 40. Out 2 out of 40. If you're short, trying to say take some here. You're fading, so click on the take profit. If we have more, they should put faster from this region right here.
I like it. It's doing pretty good.
A lot of selling into 240. I'm very wary of a bid that goes against these sellers at the moment, so careful here. Try to take some if you have any. Big stock seller at 230 now. You want a quick offer here? To do what you're getting is a bit.
It is. Oh man, I like it. Let's see if I can hold out. There are a bunch of people that are jammed into that area, but like this is the chance. I think the sell's gonna come through. Maybe just follow into it.
He's a strong seller here. Just take out these lows. Low 220 will open up more so.
I like it, man. I have 3 left on this with you.
Nice, nice, nice.
Let's shut up. I take one off here. What is this? That's like see, it's a good area. Why was I trying to take that short earlier on? Got stopped that okay the first time, but like 250, 260. That's why we were plotting based on these auctions from the beginning of the session. Like maybe I was a little too eager on it.
One of my friends said this, and honestly made the difference for my fades. Is like when you're trying to fade, don't sell the level. Sell the level after it breaks above it and it comes back, which is the head fake idea. You had the 250 as a level, it spiked into 270, then came back on a strong offer, then offered 260. The first show is okay. What doesn't make it okay is if you don't take the second. It's either you're in on all of them
Yeah,
or you're in on none of them. So it's like don't
like
like half-ass it. It's like you're
yeah,
committed, you're committed.
I fully agree.
Woo! Let's go, go, go. 60 points.
My
Fucking
first
go.
worst, I think I got yeah about 60-ish too actually. Oh, one left only though, but You're right though. Like if you're gonna try it, like you got it's like a fade area. It's like a big reversal. Like I thought I was thinking of like just like scattering them earlier. I'm like, do I just like fucking scatter these and then just like do it or what am I gonna do there? Like but I barely got taken out on that. It looked like sellers were coming in, but I guess so we had to wait for like the better seller. Nice. 75 points, 70 points. Like, fuck. Maybe I should have trailed more of these pieces of shit. I'm just gonna dump it. I only had the one left. I'm out of this after I shorted this thing 4 times today. Two of them were fine. That might be it. I think that was like the big juicy move that we were waiting for. Now some buying is trying to trap the sellers into the 185. Like, fuck, am I gonna flip this on the long side now? It's a
See,
decent
if
order
that
flow.
short move didn't, like if you got chopped up before this short move, then you pay too much expenses for doing business before you get on. So that's why being selective is actually like, very important because if you blew the bag before this move, then it wasn't good. And yes, whereas like the market was touching the bid, like it was tough to short, so it was probably better to stay away. I kind of like just looked away from the screen for a bit, but I came back. I had like 250 and 260 as well as big levels. I was like, I'll look for the short. Tried the short twice today, one time off the open. Not off the open. I think the first short I did with Vic, and then I realized that I don't know, like it looks a lot like the context of this week. You get a trend going on, you trend move, and it's just breaking through everything. And yeah, it's just tough to fade when trend mode is on, especially this week. It was just tough to stand on board. But like that trade made sense in terms of like the hit fake outside the distribution, pulls back into it with a strong offer. It was a good setup. It's just the key here is like really what you done prior to that trade. Like, did you blow like too many shorts because that is important. Yeah, I think it's over to on the sell side. Look at it bouncing up now.
Yeah, I'm
I had
getting
a good short on oil too. I'm
account.
I'm starting to get my groove on oil, so that's good. But yeah, 3 trades so far. Two Nasdaq, one winner, one loser, and one short oil that was mismanaged.
Okay, on a different account. On S&P and Nasdaq. Seeing if I can like swing it a bit
Oh
more.
baby, let's go. Let's go. What a sell. That sell should open up something or gets rejected here very quickly. Do you see that sell from like 201? Oh, yeah, that was hefty.
I think these guys are stuck into these 180s.
They are. Then you wanna get long?
Yeah, I'm long in like a different account with like larger stops. But
Uh,
like
yeah,
if I get
yeah,
I get nuked. But like it's not like your typical kind of day trade.
yeah. It's a swing position.
Yeah.
Why they're stuck
You can
on
like
it? Oh,
flip it higher here, but that's why I'm not doing it on this year. Like on the sell side, I think they're still right, like for the time being. a pretty big sell here, which is good. I just think like until I see Nasdaq back under that like 150, I'm not 100% seller, like 140-ish. Moment of truth at this 200. This is where they sold off last time, these little donkeys.
Yeah, yeah, 200, 220. Here is your danger area if you're on the long. This is where they need to bid out of the short. But I'm curious to see how the day shapes up. Is that one of those where head fake outside of distribution? Offer then touch the whole lower end, or will buyers actually step in here and hold this bid? And that case, you honestly might break like 260, 270 and continue higher maybe into the end of the day. So it can be worth a shot on the long Vic, honestly. I see the vision. I just hit the offer. That quick offer I put a lot of emphasis on. So but like I like it with the wider stop and all. I should just do it on some micros, wide stop. Where do you have your overall stop here?
My stop is like 50 points. Like,
50 is
yeah,
that's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
like one to like a bit below 120, like around 50 points. But like I'm looking for like prop.
100, 200.
Yeah, like I'm looking for
Yeah.
like at least back into that 250 area.
Yeah, I know, I know. Wide risk, wide reward.
Maybe I'm wrong, but
Never wrong, brother. Always early. Never wrong.
never wrong.
Don't
But I just widening my stop.
yeah, never wrong.
Well, these sellers are pretty frantic here.
I know. So algo is kicking. Well, buy algo is kicking too. Timmy and Jimmy are like, hey,
Maybe you're
you
fighting, but
wanna
we're getting it here.
yeah,
These sellers are with the
yeah, yeah. Heavy here. Heavy on the sell side right now. I'm not gonna get this trade because I need a good fill, honestly. I know.
Yeah, like you'd want
I'm
to
just
like
gonna,
close it to like
yeah,
one.
yeah. It's too wide. It's too much. That's okay. I'll just watch it for a bit. Hmm. Offer's creepy, man.
Mm-hmm.
God be with you on that one. Yeah. Timmy's looking at Jim. He's like, "Come here, peasant. You played enough for you played enough today. Come."
Let's see what real poverty looks like. keep,
Yeah.
keep buying,
Ah.
brother.
I love you. Vic is a funny guy, man.
Listen, we were right on the sell, looking for the sell today. It's just like I had to try it 4 times.
It's okay.
Everyone wants 100% win rate.
There you go. They hold them at bay. So
I'm trying to hold it, but like I'm a little upset with the continuation here, especially once I get like towards 200. We'll let it fly,
yeah,
maybe.
you tap into some real resistance right now. Right now you're fighting the entry. Wait until you get into the resistance. You want to see a fluid bid if it gets to 220, 200.
Yeah, there's a lot of I guess like stacked imbalances that are probably gonna try to hold that sell on the way down when it was like dropping pretty aggressively. Like 212, 220, 240. Everywhere.
Vic has leverage on the buy side on calls, long futures. You're a true buyer, Vic.
Real
You're the real Jimmy.
every dip must be
Uh,
because there's gonna be a time where the dips keep dipping.
there are people that say that you shouldn't have overall heavy bias towards one side, like buy side or sell side. You should stay neutral on both so that you know how to react. It was like, fuck that. I make my money on the buy side always. So this, this is like
Markets go up,
shorts
don't
don't make money. It's
be
uh,
market go
nobody.
mean, don't be stupid, bro. Just keep buying.
Yeah. Overall, it kind of makes a sense from a statistical point because if you think about it, markets tend to go up more than they go down. So if throughout a year you have more more longs than shorts, it should be that way. Yeah, I think this is the natural inclination of things.
Because like think of the S&P. The S&P is an index that just like it'll remove the shit companies with ones that are performing well. So it's just like skewed to the upside. Like
Exactly,
I'm
that's
not a
an
stock
element
picker, you
too.
know, like
Yeah, yeah. I think the best way to be around it is like you always have a position. On swings, kind of pointing to the upside, and on heavy selling days that are can't be avoided, that will happen a lot like yesterday. Those are the days where you kind of stick to the trend and trying to leverage the sell side to actually equalize things out. So it's um it's interesting.
yeah,
Being more of
$2
a
for
buyer
4
does.
times.
Your voice fades, Vic. Maybe that's my mic, but sometimes I hear you and sometimes I don't. Just
Sometimes
saying,
oh,
maybe.
it's faint.
Yeah, just saying,
Maybe
maybe
'cause
it's
I'm like
just my
moving away
end.
from the computer sometimes.
Oh, nice bid.
Bid.
Big buyer on the spoos here, 86. That's 2,000 into the top at 86.
Fucking longs only, baby. What's going on? Why can't we go through like 224, 226 here? Who is stopping my monster buy? Ooh.
You're gonna see who right now.
I don't want it.
The dom is literally gonna display his name and winner, Daniel.
They can go to hell, kiss my ass. Whatever. I'm up like 60 points on this for like 50 points of risk. Like
Yeah, nice 1-to-1 there. Yeah.
maybe maybe I take some off. Because interactive brokers requires $7 trillion for margin.
Yeah.
Spoo's average
Why?
11 points for like 7 points of risk. Honestly, like whatever. I would like to hold it, but like I thought this would just like explode. Like should have held that overnight long on Nasdaq a little more. Could have been like a 230 point runner. Fucking idiot. Anyways, it's 11. Probably cut some of these longs on the larger position and then put it at like break even. Yeah, it's 1-to-1, but like whatever. A bit more than 1-to-1. But on minis, it's good. Let's put this poll up. A lot of people, low attendance today. Interesting. Everyone's just off for Friday. Everyone's going to vote. Wrap things up here. Honestly, pretty good session. Like, I tried the sell fade twice on this, on the Nasdaq, because the first time on each of the tests, it didn't work. I'm not counting one of them because it just like went to break even. I don't know. That news kind of messed me up, and then it came down to a good profit. So like whatever. But that one, what did I sell? 250. Touch early. I got stopped out by like a few points. And Fatty was like, he's selling it. I see a seller. So I'm like, he's right. Makes more sense. Very similar to like the first round, honestly. When I see a big seller, shit, one second. When you see the big seller buyers such as 1,000 buyer you just spoke of, was that on your dome? 1,000 buyer.
Thousand on the Delta 86, 57, 86 on the spoos, yes.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah,
Delta.
yeah, yeah. The Delta. He
He's on.
pushed
It's on the Dom and the footprint. Like the Dom, you can
yeah,
like 1,000, like if 1,154 buyer at 86, and it just like swung it up.
the DOM and the footprinters, they show the same info. It's just one kind of like shows more activity, which is the DOM, but like it is the same info. Sometimes I feel like it's better to look at the big buyers versus big sellers on the footprint because the visual just sits better, especially you see the reaction too. And some like and the deltas and the reactions are better observed on the DOM, so same info. But yeah, that big buyer at 86 came and he just ran things up. Good for Vic.
Yeah, about like 65, 70 points on that long. I kind of want to hold it to see if we can break through that
Probably worth it.
high.
Probably
Like
worth it.
break even. Yeah, I risked a lot for it, but honestly, like I didn't want to do it on these like on the Sierra account because it's a lot smaller than what I have on IB, and I don't want to be risking like 50 points on the NAS on here. Could have maybe done it on the spoos, but with the spoos, like again, when I'm not very confident in the area, honestly, I'll just go to my IB account and throw on like a 7, 8 point stop on the spoos and just get in. Like my entry was 80, 85, 80, and 77, I think, average around like 81-ish or something. Um, so I'm okay with that. Holden theoretically. Holden lungs. That's what I'm doing. There'll be a discount with you guys anytime. Yeah, there is. Message me on Discord. Just kidding. Let me find one. Fuck. I can't think right now. Really good poll results. I didn't do an early exit. Some people left, but you're gonna be very happy with this. Not everyone voted because a lot of people left as well, but
Nice, good work, guys.
as well.
Good stuff.
No one trading demo today. That's pretty good. Let me find this discount code at TPO. These guys now they want to make a lower high, eh? Motherfuckers.
They're gonna attempt it at least. That's how I see it. They're gonna come and test the area where you have your stuff, and you gotta break even.
They're gonna go and take my break even, and then they'll go. Thanks.
90%, guys. Good work. Good results in today's training session.
That's pretty sick, actually. 90% of
Yeah,
the traders in the room are up
90% of the
today.
people here made money. Yeah, great results. So good work to everybody in the room. Again, if you struggle today, let us know how so we can help. We can review. We can talk. We can look over your trades if that's what you guys need. So far, like the way I see the day is like off the open, bullish momentum, run up top of the distribution, head fake, reject. We get the pullback. We put in a low around the areas where buyers held around the 175 on the Nasdaq. It bounced below into 150, then bounced up into 175. Took 3 shorts today on all assets here, 2 on Nasdaq, 1 on oil, and so far the way I see the market is honestly like I think the sellers tried it. Like there was just so much sell involvement here that I don't see how like they at least try to pull it back towards the lows to shake some of these like weak-handed buyers type thing. And so far, yeah, the context of the day was just bullish with one deep pullback. And so far, buyers are trying it. And what you need to see is a break above like 805 on the ES for the continuation, and break above like the 270 on Nasdaq for the continuation higher. Otherwise, we can just be stuck here, kind of form a big range that's grinding lower. Pressure is on the buyers, but honestly, they're performing. So if you're on the long side, maybe consider taking some profit and let it ride on to the rest of the day. Friday, markets left to bid into Fridays. Also, the movement has been volatile this week, considering earnings, the elections, of course, and all that. So we're getting a lot of trend moves, a lot of trend days. So for me, if I was long, it would have been worth the risk. I would like probably take some off. I'm trying to hold it. But yeah, overall great day, 90%. This is honestly awesome to see, and yeah, good work everyone. Very good work, and back to you, brother.
Yeah, good work, everyone. Honestly, like today was a pretty good day. Yeah, there was bullishness throughout the, I guess, like earlier morning Didn't really do too much there. Yeah, I faded Nasdaq like a few times because maybe like realistically I only should have faded it twice, maybe, or once, which should have been around that 250, 260 once I saw that sell pressure a little. Yeah, a little early, but like it's okay. I'm kind of gambling on the fact that we could just start ripping this thing higher. We're trying to accept into auctions higher. Like if we start bidding aggressively through 260, I like that because we made a higher low here. We couldn't run under that like 150 area. S&P is a little touchy right now. They are holding out against these guys. There's a potential for a lower high here. I'm just kind of gambling on the fact that we could see that rip higher. But thank you guys for joining us on YouTube and on stream today. YouTube, we generally stream on Fridays. Maybe we stream a little more throughout the following weeks, but generally on Fridays we'll do a stream. I had a few technical difficulties because I got back to Canada for the month. So this is the first stream. Last Friday we didn't do anything. And otherwise, like we do these Zooms in our community on a day-to-day basis. And yeah, let's see this afternoon what we get. I'll probably not really do anything after maybe 1 to 2 p.m. Probably like 12 p.m. today. I think a job well done today. So let's just move forward with that and see what we get. So thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Have a great weekend, people. And we shall chat in Discord, members. So take care, enjoy, and we'll chat soon.